As most people already know, I am writing blogs on a regular basis, and in this podcast, I it's just a mix of me creating some spontaneous episodes or reading out a blog out loud. And this time, I want to read a blog out loud, and it's about exercise. And I talk about if it's good for post concussion syndrome. I talk about my experience, how what exercise I did before the accident. Yeah, so I talk about it. I explain some things, and I talk about consistency, about how I exercise at this moment. So yeah, I think everything in this blog is there about exercise, and I just hope that it will help you. So there we go. Is exercise good for post concussion syndrome? My experience and how a 16-week exercise plan helped me. Before the accident, I worked out mostly 4 times a week. I was very active and loved it. But then I had a scooter accident and sustained a whiplash and concussion, and working out wasn't going well. In this blog, I dive deeper into the question: is exercise good for post concussion syndrome? And I will share my experience. What exercise did I do before the accident? Before the accident, I went to the gym mostly 4 times a week. I started with 15 minutes cardio, followed by 45 minutes of fitness, weightlifting. I felt fit, strong, and exercise gave me so much energy that I couldn't imagine a life without. Besides that, I went to many festivals where I danced the whole day, which counts as cardio as well, right? Then the accident happened, and working out wasn't going well. I sustained a concussion and whiplash in May 2017. I drove home on my scooter and bumped into another scooter. In my first 2 years, I didn't know I would sustain a concussion because I didn't fall on my head, and no doctor mentioned it. Can you believe it? So I dragged myself to the gym because I knew, before the accident, that this always helped me to get more energy and feel better. Of course, I wasn't just feeling off, but I didn't know what to do because I would already been at home for weeks. I needed to try something. I didn't give myself the time to rest. I started to search for anything that could help, and when you start reading on Google about exercising, it seems like this helps with almost everything you're suffering from. I tried everything to get better, but is exercise good for post concussion syndrome? Well, I felt way worse after going to the gym and decided it wasn't helping at all. I had to recover for weeks after one gentle session. What was going on with me? I felt confused. I didn't know what to do and whether exercise would be beneficial or if it could do more harm. Over time, I learned that aerobic exercise helps with brain function, increasing blood flow to the brain. Your brain is getting more oxygen, which it needs to function properly. Exercise also stimulates cell growth and improves neuroplasticity, something that's so important in your recovery. Studies show that every time you exercise, your body produces protein, BDMF. Exercise will create a post cognitive boost for hours, and there are way more benefits. It's an important factor in healing from a concussion and improving cognitive skills. Your brain needs exercise so it can obtain and use chemicals to heal. But the most important question is, how could I exercise after feeling so bad after every session? I went from 0 to 100 instead of building up. Because I was always used to giving everything I had in a session, it was hard for me to go to the gym and just do a few exercises. I always overdid it, and my symptoms were getting worse and worse. It's so important to build up exercise after sustaining a concussion. Your body is sensitive to every movement, which can worsen when you do too much. I felt lost because I didn't know what to do anymore. Should I work out or should I rest? It seemed like no one knew the answer and I had to figure out everything myself. It took me 2 years. After doing gentle walks, this was the only thing that didn't make it worse. I found a doctor who knew more about exercise after a concussion. It felt like a relief as I finally did get some answers. She gave me a 16-week exercise plan to build up exercise. Sticking to a plan did help me a lot instead of just doing something and guessing it would be okay. It gave me more guidance and structure, making it possible not to exceed my limit each time. Let me tell you more about this plan and how to build up exercise in a gentle way. The 16-week exercise plan. Because this exercise plan helped me a lot, I decided to add this to the Concussion Community platform as well. And with success, some comments from members. I started doing the aerobic low exercise and I can tell the big difference on my head and my energy. It's amazing. I did the first exercise and I'm feeling a lot less pain. So the 16-week plan looks like this. Month 1, starting slow. Month 1, strength training, supported exercises. Month 2, building tolerance. Month 2, strength training. Month 3, increasing intensity. Month 3, strengthening standing exercises. Month 4, increasing exercise load and adding interval training. And month 4, dynamic movement balance. So this plan includes aerobic exercises, resistance training, balance work, and appropriate rest. The most important thing is to listen to your body. Let me share you the first week of this 16-week plan to give you an idea. And for everyone who is listening to this podcast, I added the link to this blog so you can find this first week of the 16-week plan. So you can look at it and you have an idea of what it looks like. And the full plan, of course, is within the community. And it's created by Dr. Jessica Klein. And she is a physiotherapist and she's also very knowledgeable about concussion. So she is a concussion expert too. Let's continue with the blog. Consistency is everything. Don't push too hard. This plan helped me a lot 2 years after the accident when I felt very lost and didn't know what to do. It gave me some guidance in building up exercising, getting motivated, and getting more confidence. I learned the most important thing when it comes to exercise is not to do as much as you can, but to do it consistently, step by step. In this way, your body is getting used to the exercises and you can handle a bit more over time. You don't run a marathon right away without any training, right? When you push yourself too much and go over your limits all the time, your body is recovering from the sessions all the time. That's why it's so important to find that balance between moving forward and pushing just a little bit. How many times and how do I exercise right now? After building exercise up step by step, believe me, this wasn't always as easy as it sounds, I started to create my own schedule. I learned what I could handle and that small steps lead to bigger results. At this moment, it's been 6 years since the accident and I can handle way more than in the beginning. Right now, I'm exercising 3 times a week, some weeks more, some weeks less, but 3 on average, and I do intervals and strength training. At first, I tried to go to the gym, but I changed it to working out from home or running in nature. Working out with a concussion in the gym can be so overwhelming. There's always loud music and many people. So I bought some weights and I run outside. Behind our house is a forest which I love. The most important thing I learned is not to push myself when I don't feel well, as this makes things worse. So when I feel good, I decide if I want to go for a run or do some strength training at home. I feel so much better when I exercise compared with when I don't exercise. I totally understand it's hard to find that balance. Believe me, I had many setbacks because I did too much. During that moment, you feel like exercise isn't helping but making things worse. But I promise when you build up exercise slowly, when you listen to your body and find your balance, exercise is medicine. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I really hope this was helpful for you. If it was, and if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, would you maybe do one small thing in return? Leave a short review or thumbs up on YouTube. The more reviews this podcast will get, the easier it is for other people to find this podcast and to feel less alone and lost in their journey. Oh, and one last thing. I would love it if you share a helpful episode on Instagram in a post or in a story and tag the Concussion Community in it. Or you can always send me a direct message. I love to see who is listening. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.